Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to study the fifth chapter of our English course book, A Musical Instrument, written by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. So, first of all, we'll study about our poetess Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Elizabeth Barrett Browning was born in the year 1806 and she died in the year 1861. She wrote poetry from the age of 11, started writing poetry from the age of 11. She worked for the abolition of slavery. Her works had a major influence on other prominent writers. Some of her famous works are The Battle of Marathon, The Ladies' Yes, The Seraphim, The Cry of the Children. Now let's move to our poem, A Musical Instrument. What was he doing, the great god Pen, down in the reeds by the river, spreading ruin and scattering ban, splashing and paddling with hoofs of a goat, and breaking the golden lilies afloat, with the dragonfly on the river? Okay. So here actually the poet, and a third person is the speaker, and the third person is describing whatever is happening in the poem. The poet or the speaker, the person present in the scene is not describing the poem. Any third person is the speaker over here. Okay. Now across in a forest, there was god Pen. Who is god Pen? God Pen is the god of the wild. He is the god of the nature, mountain, wild, rustic music, and impromptu and compassion of the names. He was basically, god Pen is the god of the wilds. He is half man and half beast. His half body is of man and half body is of goat. Okay. Now looking at god Pen, the third person, the speaker is saying that what was he doing, the great god Pen, that what is god Pen doing down in the reeds by the river, in the down in the reeds by the river, near the reeds by the river. What are reeds? Now reeds are tall plants which are found in the river, beside the river sides, and these are having slender leaves. Okay, slender leaf, tall plants, as you can see in your book as well, that reeds are tall plants with slender leaves. They are found beside the river, in the river. Okay. So the speaker is asking to Godpen that what was Godpen doing down in the reeds beside the river, spreading ruin and scattering ban. Okay. Splashing and paddling with hoofs of a goat. Okay, now what is the god Pen doing? That god Pen is moving down the river, splashing and puddling with hoofs of goat, and ruining and spreading and ruining everything in the river. Basically, what is god Pen doing? That god Pen is creating a lot of destruction. Actually, the god Pen is moving across the river and he is creating a lot of destruction while moving across the river. He is splashing and paddling with his hoofs of goat. As I told you all, he is half man and half beast, and breaking the golden lilies afloat with the dragonfly on the river. When Godpen is moving across the river, his movement is very rough. His way of moving across the river is very rough, and due to his movement, the golden lilies have broken. The golden lilies which were silently floating in the river now have broken, and the dragonflies which were sitting over the golden lilies have also flown away. He tore out a reed, the great god Pen, from the deep and cool bed of the river. The limpid water turbidly ran. Okay. Now, what did god Pen do? The speaker is describing in the next bit again that now god Pen have tore a reed, taken out a reed from the deep cool bed of the river. Okay, from the deep bed of the river, the deep cool from underneath the river, the great god Pen have taken out a reed. Now the water before pulling out of the reed was very clear. Okay, clear. Now when, as soon as the god Pen have taken out the reed out of the river, that clear water have turned murky or muddy, and the broken lilies are dying lay, and the dragonflies had fled away. The speaker says that once these lilies were perfect, the once perfect lilies are now broken and dying, and the dragonflies have also flown away ere he brought it out the river. It happened before he brought the reed out of the river. Now in third stanza, it says, high on the shore sat the great god Pen, while turbidly flowed the river. So the speaker further says that uh, say the great god Pan is sitting on the shore, and the river water kept on flowing turbidly. Turbidly means murkily or muddy. It is the muddy water of the river kept on flowing, and hacked and hewed as a great god can. Hacked means rough and hewed means severe. So he said that as hacked and rough and severe a great god can, uh, with his heart bleak steel at the patient reed. Now the great god Pen have taken out his bleak steel. Bleak steel is his tool. Bleak means one which is not very one a thing which is doesn't looks very good. Okay, so he have taken out his bleak steel tool, and he's doing something with his that steel tool to the reed. Throughout all this thing, the reed which he have taken out from the river is very patient and calm, till there was not a sign of a leaf in it. So what did he do? Well, the great god Pan have taken out all the leaves from the reed to prove it fresh from the river. Now after looking at the reed, nobody would be able to identify that the reed has been taken out freshly from the river. Okay, he cut it short. Did the great good Pen, how tall it stood in the river. Now what did he do? He cut it short. Okay, and it stood reeds are very tall plants. Okay, and the poet speaker is saying that how tall it used to stand in the river, and the great god Pen have now cut it short. They then drew the pit like the heart of a man. Okay, now what did he do? Now the great god Pen have taken out all the inside materials of the reed from outside from the reed. Okay, he took out all the inside materials from the reed. He's now taking out actually he hollowed the reed. Okay, hollowing of the reed, the speaker have compared the hollowing of the reed is similar of taking out of heart from a man. Okay, and notched the poor dry empty thing in holes as he said by the river. And he kept on notching means to make marks. He notched and make some holes in that reed, and by sitting beside the river. This is the way, laughed the great god Pen, laughed while he sat by the river. The only way since gods began to make sweet music they could succeed. Then dropping his mouth to a hole in the reed, he blew in power by the river. Okay, now after making holes in the reed, the great god Pen laughed and said that this is the way. Laughed the great god Pen. He said this is the way. Okay, only way in which gods succeed, the only way since gods began to make sweet music, they could succeed. The only way in which God succeeded in making music. Then dropping his mouth to hole in the reed, he blew in power by the river. Okay, now what did the great god Pen do? He blew in one hole from one hole of the reed, and he blew as hard as he could, and he blew in the power by the river, and he blew as hard as he could, and it made out a very beautiful music. Sweet, 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 O Pen, piercing sweet by the river, blinding sweet, O great god Pen, the sun on the hill forgot to die, and the lilies revived, and the dragonfly came back to dream on the river. Okay, now all of a sudden, in the first five paras, we are seeing that the speaker is not happy with the actions of great god Pen. But all of a sudden, the speaker says that sweet, sweet, sweet. By listening to the music, he says that sweet, O Pen, piercing sweet by the river, blinding sweet, O great god Pen. He further appreciates the music and said that by listening to the beautiful music, the sun has forgotten to set, and the lilies which were dying once have revived. It means relived, and the dragonflies came back to dream on the river, and the dragonflies which have flown away had again returned to the river. Yet half a beast is the great god Pen to laugh as he sits by the river, making a poet out of a man. Okay, so Pen is only half a beast as he sits and laughs besides the river. Then the speaker says that Pen is only half a beast half a ways to as he sits and laughs beside the river, and he takes out a poet from a man. It means when someone will a human being will look at that beautiful scenario along with that music, a human will adore that beauty of the nature, and the along with that the beautiful music, and it will increase his poetic, take out his poetic, his or her poetic qualities. Okay. The true god sigh for the cost and pains, for the reed which grow never more again, as a reed with the reeds of the water. Okay. Now the true gods, what is the difference between true god and pan god? True god means those gods which are considered more holy. Okay, holy. So, and the true gods sigh, but the true gods are not happy by the action of the great god Pan, and they sigh and in cost and the pain. They are very sad for the cost and the pain faced by the about the faced by the reed, and they are very sad about the destruction. They feel that bad for, they are feeling bad for the reed, and they want as the reed cannot grow again as a reed between other reeds. See, they feel that they are feeling bad for the reeds as it cannot grow again, and it cannot grow as a reed between other reeds. So I hope all of you are able to understand this chapter. Thank you.